All right, welcome back to Black Cat Crypto Club. My name is Drake. And before we get into the heart of the video on when to sell Bitcoin, I want to jump over to a few interesting tweets that I saw this morning. So this is a tweet from Marty Party, and he's a pretty well-known person in crypto Twitter, but he says here, Solana daily non-voting transactions exceed the combined daily transactions of Tron, Polygon, BNB, Sui, Ethereum, Arbitrum, Flow, Base, Bitcoin, and Optimism. And, it shows it right here in this graph. This green line here is Solana transactions, and the rest of the pack is clear down here. So just crazy. But this really shows what I was talking about with Solana. Like, Solana is the most, for me, Solana is the network that I have used most in my entire history in crypto. So the last 11 or 12 years, Solana, which I just got into in October, is this massively useful network, and I use it every day. So this really kind of shows that a lot of people are just like me and just using the heck out of Solana. It's surprising, Ethereum, it being this far above Ethereum is surprising. I guess if you think about it, Ethereum with its gas fees is a little hard to work with, but Ethereum's big, and just to see this over Solana or over Ethereum is wild. It's also wild to see Bitcoin in this mix, because Bitcoin is so much bigger than Solana. But again, if you think about it, Bitcoin at this point of history in Bitcoin really isn't used for transactions. There's more and more places that are starting to accept Bitcoin for payment every day, but it really hasn't caught on as a form of payment yet. And I think we need to see a little more user-friendly, user interface and user experience needs to be a little bit better. We've come a long ways since 2012 with user interface on Bitcoin. Let me tell you that. But we could do a little bit better. I think the Lightning Network is really going to help that along as well. But for the most part, Bitcoin right now is just kind of a buy and sell as far as transactions go. It's a kind of buy and sell thing. You're seeing transactions that way, and maybe some transactions moving to off exchange wallets. So if you think about it, it kind of makes sense, but it is just surprising to see because Bitcoin is so much bigger than Solana. Now, I've got another one to show you here from Marty Party. This is Grayscale Solana, and it says it's flying off the shelves at 8 times the spot price. And this is a repost from Otteroo. It says they're paying 800% premium to buy GSOL. And if you look at this chart, this is the underlying asset worth in Grayscale's trust. It's sitting at about 55, probably 55 billion, I would imagine. Nah, probably 55 million. Come on, let's be real. This is Solana. But it's trading clear up here at 539. So 8 times what it's worth. So this is crazy. This is traditional finance is mainly, I think, who are in these trusts because they can buy it easier than the underlying crypto going on crypto exchanges and dealing with that. They buy these trusts. This is kind of like the ETF, the pre-ETF, but this is a trust that traditional finance can buy a little bit easier. And they're paying eight times what Solana's worth. So just really bullish if you think about it. Now, before any of you guys get on and say, oh, you're trying to pump Solana, come on. First of all, you'd have to think that I'm really dim if you think me trying to pump Solana on a channel where I have 4 people watching this channel, you think I'm going to pump Solana? Come on. Now, I'm exaggerating a little bit there on how many people watch this channel, but still, guys, for the amount of effort that I put into these videos and everything, I'd be much better off going on social media and if I was going to try and pump. So, and I've got a bigger audience on Facebook for sure. And I don't post about Solana ever over there. So I don't really care. I don't need to pump Solana. Solana is going to pump itself. You know, the use of it is just there. So we're going to jump back over. I'm going to show you this one last tweet. This is from Titan of Crypto, and this is extremely bullish for Bitcoin. So what this is the moving average, the 200-day moving average is this red line. The 100-day moving average is this blue line. And when they cross, it's called a golden cross. And it's a really bullish thing. And we've never had it happen in all of Bitcoin's history until now. And you can see the effects. Let's look, you know, back here in 2016, we got really close. We pretty much touched right here. And you can see the resulting price action of Bitcoin. It just flew. And then again in 2020, we didn't even come closer there, but you can see this price action afterwards, just straight up. And now here we are, 2024, and we've made this golden cross for the first time in Bitcoin's history. So this along with making all-time highs before the halving, those are two things that have never happened before in Bitcoin's history. So this, I don't know, guys, sometimes I think none of us are bullish enough on Bitcoin right now. It's just insane what Bitcoin is doing with these things. And, you know, you can talk about the price action all you want, but when you get these underlying signals like the moving averages making these crosses and sending these signals, that's really, I mean, just mind-blowing, really. So yeah, I just wanted to get on and kind of show you guys those because I thought they were interesting. We're going to get into when to sell Bitcoin. You know, should you sell it now? Are we looking at a 30% dip here in the near future? Should you sell? Should you try and top the cycle top in a year and a half or whenever? Or should you ever sell Bitcoin? And you might expect from, if you've seen my past video where I said I'm never selling my Bitcoin, you might expect me to say never, but you might be surprised on what I come up with here. So stay tuned. I'm actually going to jump back over here before we get into it. If you guys have a few bucks, go over to ezsrescueranch. These guys, I'm spotlighting these guys this entire month. I'm sure you guys have heard this, but go over their PayPal. You can literally donate $1 if that's your thing. But these guys, any small amount really goes a long way with these guys, because this is a very small animal sanctuary. It's really gonna, anything you can donate really helps out these animals. So go over, I'll leave their PayPal and all of their information in the description of this video. Guys, we're also in a bull market, so any bit of good karma could help us out. You know, not to pressure you into it, but anything you can donate really helps those guys out. So let's get into it. When is the right time to sell Bitcoin? Now, what I'm going to say first is you do you. So you have to do what's right for you. If you need the money now, you should be getting out, and you have every right to take that money out and do what's right for you. If you get down the road here in a year and a half and you are seeing your Bitcoin portfolio having life-changing wealth there, and you can take it out and buy a house, by all means, do that. But you know, it kind of leads me into when and how much you should also be buying. So some people are comfortable with like a percentage, a very number-based percentage. And for some people, that's like 5% of their portfolio. For some people, it's 2% of their portfolio. For some people, it's a percentage of their monthly income or their biweekly check. Maybe that's 10% of their biweekly check they feel comfortable with putting into Bitcoin. You've got to be comfortable with it, guys. You should never put more than you're comfortable with into Bitcoin. And that leads me to the next thing is, a lot of people say, well, you should only put in to Bitcoin how much you are able to lose. And so if that's your comfort level, for sure, that's what you should possibly put into Bitcoin, is how much you can lose. Now, I've considered my portfolio in all three of those areas, the, you know, percentage, number-based area. I've also really thought about how much I can afford to lose. And I've also thought about what I'm comfortable with. So, and all of those categories kind of crisscross. They're not completely independent of each other by any means, but I've really thought about all three of those. And as far as the how much I'm in, the number percentage wise, I'm going to jump over and show you this other tweet I saw today. And that is this. This is funny. 5% allocation to Bitcoin is too risky. Me, 100% Bitcoin. And this is by a tweet from Robin Sayer. But he, over here, he says, me, 105%. And I'm about there, guys. I am probably a little closer to 110% in Bitcoin of my liquid net worth. And you might say, well, how is anything over 100% possible? But I'll just let you use your imagination when it comes to that. Now, that is the number-based portfolio, like, thing for me, is like, I'm all in to Bitcoin. The comfort level, what am I comfortable with? Well, I'm comfortable with that. And how much can I afford to lose? And I've really thought about that over the last year or so. And all I'm going to say is, if Bitcoin went to zero, if the internet got shut off and I lost everything I had in Bitcoin, well, first of all, if the internet goes down, guys, we're going to have way more problems to think about than losing this thing we call, wealth and money. But let's just say the internet stays on, nothing catastrophic happens like that. I just end up losing all of my Bitcoin. And I've really thought about that. And what I came down to is I own my home. If that ever did happen, I could sell my home, I could move into a smaller house or even rent, and I'd still be able to take care of myself. I'd still be able to take care of my cats, my dogs, my rooster, and I'd be fine. So it would be a really sad day for me, but I'm comfortable with it. And if it happens, it's not the end of the world for me, for sure. So now I want to talk a little bit about that being in 100% for me, because it really is kind of this paradigm shift for me. And I want to explain, first of all, the history of that. So I've been 100% into Bitcoin since October of 2020. And in October 2020, I hit the buy button and put everything I owned into Bitcoin. And it was a gut-dropping moment for sure, because it was a significant, not only was it a lot, it was everything I had liquid wise, but it was a significant amount. So it definitely made my gut drop when I hit that buy button. But I've been 100% into crypto ever since. And yes, in that time, from then till now, I did cash out some of my altcoins. I didn't have to sell any of my Bitcoin. I didn't have to sell any of my Ethereum, and I kept some other altcoins, but I was able to sell some of my altcoins for the price that I needed to build my home. So that's what I'm talking about, guys, is if you get to the point where you have life-changing money that you can use to increase your quality of life, do it. But I did that. However, let me explain this. I didn't ever cash out, really, for the most part, into fiat currency. What I did was I sold some of my altcoins, and I sold it into USDC, a stable cryptocurrency that is pegged to the dollar. And with the USDC, I used a little debit card that debited my USDC, and I was able to pay for everything that I needed to build my house. So I never really fully went to fiat currency. Now I get that, well, USDC is just as bad inflation-wise because it's pegged to the dollar as fiat currency. And I get that. I also get that Circle, the company that runs USDC, is largely kind of backed by the dollar. They have proof of reserves in bonds and US treasuries. So I get that going to USDC, I was kind of exposed to the dollar, but I never myself really got out into fiat currency. And I never have since then. You know, I've sold some things here and there, and I've done some work here and there and gotten paid in fiat. And whenever I do that, I get it into cryptocurrency and Bitcoin about as quick as I can. But, you know, that's my history. I've been out of fiat currency for 4 years now, almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in October. And it really has been this kind of, I mean, I've been in crypto for 11 years, 12 years, but it was that aha moment really once I really got into it as much as I did. And I don't expect everybody to get this, because paradigm shifts, mental paradigm shifts, are really that aha moment where just something clicks, and it doesn't matter how much talking I do. Some of you guys are not going to go through that aha moment, and you won't get this, but I'm going to do my best to kind of describe how I think. And I don't think how people really do think when it comes to Bitcoin and fiat currency. When I talk to people, I do say, yeah, I bought some more Bitcoin, or you know, when are you going to buy or sell Bitcoin? But that's not really how I think. That's not how I feel. And the best way to describe it is, I don't see myself as, like, Bitcoin is kind of my base. So I don't see it as I'm buying Bitcoin. I actually lean, the way I feel is I lean towards, I'm selling dollars. I'm not buying Bitcoin, I'm selling dollars. And so it's like this paradigm shift. Now I'm going to jump over. There's one other tweet, and this is a conversation, a text conversation. But this guy, a friend messages him and says, bro, when do you think would be a good time to sell some Bitcoin? And he replies, you're asking the wrong questions, man. Selling into what? Fiat? It's a melting ice cube. And the guy says, well, to take profits, it's gone up a lot. Are you seriously saying you're never selling Bitcoin? The guy replies definitively, yes, I'm buying more as long as I have fiat income, bro. The guy says, I don't believe you. Now we're going to go to this next page. He says, I don't believe you. And so this other guy replies with this picture of a portfolio overview and a value of $8,000. And he says, is that how much you have? And the guy replies, no, that's how much I bought while drinking my morning coffee. Sorry, that's hilarious. But the other guy says, holy meow. And he comes back and says, stack harder, man. I can tell by your questions that you haven't read the books I suggested. Do the work, read the books, don't this up. I'm not carrying your arse. Stand strong on your own. And the guy comes back and says, okay, man. So, sorry. If you can't have fun, it's not worth doing. And that includes YouTubing, that includes the Bitcoining. You know, if you can't have fun, don't. It's not worth doing. Remember that one. It's going to be on the test, guys. Anyways, that conversation really kind of exemplifies that mentality. Is like, it's a melting ice cube. Fiat is this melting ice cube, man. If the Fed gets down to their 2% inflation goal, even the best case at that goal that they're hoping to get to, putting your fiat money in the bank and sitting on it for 50 years almost depletes you of everything. Like, the vast majority of your money is gone within 15 years. So it is the melting ice cube. And I've said in the past that I never plan on selling my Bitcoin. And I think that's probably really confusing to some people, to probably a lot of you. But let me explain that a little bit to you. If I have to use some Bitcoin to live, then fine, I will do that. However, there is a way to live off of your assets where you collateralize your assets and you're able to live off them without spending them. Now, that whole process is pretty complicated, and I can do an entire video on that if you guys want to. If you want me to do that video, let me know in the comments. It is kind of a mind-blowing idea, but people do it all the time. People have been using this way of collateralizing their assets to live and not ever having to sell their assets. And they've been doing this for decades. So if you want to see that video, if you want me to make that video, let me know in the comments. And I can definitely get to that if you guys are interested. But when I say that I don't ever plan on selling my Bitcoin, it's because either I think I can do that, where I can collateralize and live off of it, but I've also got this entire thing of altcoins. And that, I am not saying that I won't ever sell any of that. And I think I can sell that and, you know, trade and do things with that, and I can live off of that, and I can afford to never sell my Bitcoin. Now, some of you might still be saying, well, Guy, what is the point? Like, if you're not going to sell it, what's the point? And my thinking is, yeah, you can't take it with you when you die, for sure. But if I can live and live comfortably without selling it, then I'm definitely going to try for that. Because when I do die, it would be nice to leave my family members, my friends, something, you know. That would be cool. I would like that. I would like to do that. But I'd also like to take some of that and leave it to, in some way, making the world a better place once I'm dead and floating down the canal. I want to, if I can make that last my entire life, and then have some of it go to projects that are making the world better for the future, that's what I want to do. So that is why I say that I don't plan on selling my Bitcoin. I think it's too scarce for one thing, and for the other, I think I can do it. So And I think, I don't know. That's my thinking on it anyways. So I don't know, guys, if this helped you decide where you lay in where you should be selling Bitcoin, like and subscribe. I hope it kind of got you thinking of where you should be selling, where you should be taking profits, whether it's I'm too overexposed now. This is a volatile thing. I should probably get out because I can't afford to lose any of what I have in. Then yes, that's awesome. Do what you need to do. If you're thinking, okay, this is really cool. If I get life-changing wealth and I can buy a home, awesome. Have a plan. Have a plan and stick to it, because that is going to be your best bet. If you have a plan, you're less likely to let your emotions take over. When things do get crazy, you can stick to that plan. You have a plan in place. So hopefully that this video helps you think about and get that plan in place for yourselves. Anyways, guys, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.